Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? So, we're back again. We have another Nintendo Switch, okay? And this time, uh, this might be something that a lot of you guys have seen before. I guess this is the blue screen of death, where you kind of get this blue screen. The customer said that this hit the floor. Once it hit the floor, it immediately went into this limbo, okay? So, when I see these, usually what I do is I just reflow the APU, and that usually solves the problem. Give a warranty. I haven't had any returns on these, so we will try the same thing and see if that solves the problem on this one. Okay, it's not always going to work for every console, but if you have the tools and the knowledge, you can try this and see if it works for you. If it works for you, then good, you've solved your issue. If not, then you can try to maybe reball the CPU. That's also another option. I don't go that far. Not that I don't think it'll work. It might work for a period of time, just like me. Even what I'm doing right now might just work for a period of time. It might not work forever. But for now, I do give a warranty. If the customer comes back, then I'll just replace the board. And then I would just keep the board for parts. That's what I usually do. Some people won't do that. They'll just say, hey, it's not working, sorry, and just keep it moving. But try to do our best to accommodate our customers however we can. So let's continue with this repair. So all I'm doing now is I'm just taking out all the screws. If you don't know where these screws are, I'm sure I have a video. If not, you can just request a video and I will, or leave a comment below and, ask for a video, and I'll go ahead and I'll create a video on how to take this apart. But there's a lot of videos out there already on how to take these things apart. You can follow any one of those videos. The process is the same. Okay, so I did go ahead and take the back off. Now we're going to take this metal shield off. I'm going to take the board out also. So I'm taking everything out all the way down to the board. And, this isn't my idea, but I was with a friend the other day, and I heard him say, go ahead and do a reset on the desk. And what he does is, and I struggle with this a lot also, so that's why I'm giving you guys this tip, is whenever I do repairs, after a while, I get this buildup of screws and all this stuff from repairs that maybe are no fixes. Usually it's just no fix, and you get this buildup on your desk of screws and all that stuff. And he called it a reset. So what you do is you get a container that you put all your screws in. Whenever you do like a desk clean, so you just dump all your screws and all your stuff in there, just in case you ever need to, get something, because let's say, you've had it for a while, the customer finally decided to come by and pick it up, and you need to put all the parts together, that they're in that container. So I'm going to be trying that more often. When I need to clean my desk, I'm just going to make a reset container where I just dump all that stuff. Okay? Alright, so there we go. We've already taken the back off, disconnecting the battery right now. And then once I disconnect the battery, then I'm going to go ahead and just disconnect all these ribbon cables, take out all these other screws, and get to working. And I'm looking, because I have a switch that I purchased from someone, and what's going on with it is this left stick is not connecting to the console. And I think what might have happened is, during the process of the customer changing this right, I'm going to say a cradle or an attachment for the controller, I think they knocked some of the resistors off. I think they're resistors. I don't really think they're filters, but I mean, you can, you know, if they're low enough, I guess they can be considered resistors. I don't really know. I just think that's the issue with that, so I am going to go ahead and, after looking at this console, I am going to go ahead and replace those resistors on the other console, and I think that's going to solve the problem with that one. Okay, so let me just stop chatting and just go ahead and just finish taking this thing apart. Then I'll show you guys how I reflow this to get this thing working again. And actually, once I get this out the housing, I'm going to show you guys the connector and what I see. Show you guys the difference between the one that I have and this one, and why I think these components are or were knocked off the board. Let's go ahead and remove that little heat pad. Okay, I thought I seen one more screw here. Just make sure. Yep. Right here. I know probably a lot of this you guys cannot see because I'm not really doing I'm not making a teardown video, so just testing to see if where I might have forgotten a screw, because I'm still having some resistance here while lifting the board. So there we go. Okay, and we have the board out. So let me show you guys what's going on with this switch that I purchased, just in case you guys have this issue. So let's go underneath the microscope. Alright, and here we are underneath the microscope. Let me show you guys the area. So on this switch, over on this side over here, if you guys take a look, right here, it looks like the components that were here were knocked off. I might be completely wrong, because if you look over here, all of these just looks like some little hills, and they're not missing components. And usually when you see the hills like this, that means that they're not connected, they don't have anything there. But I believe that there was, and it's causing it to not connect. Because if I look at this one, I'm going to look at that same side, and I'm sure there's different variations of the board. You see this don't have none of the pads, and the pads are just nowhere to be found. This one is completely different from that one, which looks like there was solder everywhere and they just kind of left it that way. So I believe that's what's causing the problem. Okay. Alright, so I did go ahead and I took that shield off. We're going to go ahead and we're going to clean all this stuff up right here. Okay. And just like this. Just going to clean around here and continue to do this, and then we'll just get into cleaning it properly. because this is meant to keep the APU cool, you want to remove that. If not, then you're going to run into problems with it just absorbing most of the heat, and you're going to turn up your your hot air station, and you're just going to cook the APU. I'm trying not to do that, so that's why I'm doing it this way. All right, and we have to finish cleaning. So let's get some of these. Two should be fine. And all I'm going to do is just wipe on top here and get rid of as much of this as I can. Like that. Okay, and that should be okay. I mean, we have some on those small components, but I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. And for the internet, we'll just clean them up like that. But like I said, I don't think it's a huge issue. Okay, and I got a new board holder. Been wanting to test it. I think I actually used it, but I didn't do much with it. So what we're going to do is going to use it to hold this board in two places. Right there and right here. Okay? And then we're going to get some flux as much as we can into here. We're going to take the top off our hot air station. Okay? And let's that's charging port. That's not what we're trying to do here. So I'm glad that happened now and not later in the middle of the repair. That's pretty good. Okay, I got my tweezer here. Let's move all of these back in place. Trying to remember to put my tools back because that will help keep my station here kind of clean, and that way I can just kind of work. Okay, I'm gonna take this off. It's a good idea to remove this. Remove it. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm starting at 200 degrees Celsius, and we're going to start there, and then we will, as soon as we get this chip warmed up a little bit, and we get this flux moving around and getting it underneath the actual APU, we'll kind of up the heat a little until we get all the way up to about 500, okay? But you notice I am not rushing this, so I'm not immediately coming in with 500 and just trying to get this like bubbling up. So you don't want to rush it, because if you rush it, you're going to get it to bubble up. So I'm just melting the solder, if anything. So I'm going to up the airflow to melt the solder. And while I'm melting it, I'm just kind of leaning the board to the side a little bit here to get the solder to flow underneath the chip, because like I said, I just think the impact might have kind of shaken this up a little bit. So, okay. So I did see some of the solder disappear here. So let's do it again. Okay. I mean, you guys can check all the other components if you'd like to. Um, this is just how I start. I'm not telling you guys, that you must start this way, but this is just from my experience in dealing with these consoles. Every time I've seen this issue, that's what it's been. It's been the APU. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that yet. We're not gonna move it up to 500. I'm lying, we are. We're doing that now. We'll just turn on our airflow and we'll keep our distance. Watching this plastic over here also, you can cover that up if you need to, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Just cover it up if you feel like you don't want to melt it. Just go ahead and cover it up, okay? And I'm backing up my heat and I'm coming back in. So I'm not rushing it. I'm just slowly, and I'm coming back in with my heat, and I'm looking to just nudge this to make sure that it moves. And once it's moved, I'm a little bit more confident that this thing is making a contact with the board or with the balls underneath it, the solder ball. And that's really what I want. Alright, we're starting to get up now. I can see that. Okay, so I'm going to add some more flux to the board. Just to make sure that I got enough. Okay, and this should do it. Okay. Here we go, and I just seen it move on that side, so I'm going to nudge over here also. There we go, and I just seen it move, so I'm okay with that. We'll let the board cool down. I don't know why I didn't turn on my fuel extractor. And if I need to, I'll do this another time. If I still get a blue screen, I'll do it again. But for now, we'll just wait for it to cool and then we will test it. Okay? I'm going to speed up the process of cooling this board down using this. Okay, board is cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's test this. Like I explained to you guys, I'm not going to show you guys full assembly videos or anything like that. As long as I test this and you guys see it working, I end these videos. I don't continue to record the assembly videos and all that stuff. Alright, so let's continue to put this back together. It should be really quick. As long as these ribbon cables stop going back underneath as soon as I lift them out, then we should be good. I melted this plastic over here a little bit. I just realized that. But I think it should be functional still. It should make a connection and all that good stuff. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. We don't need the Joy-Cons to be connected up. We need the backlight to be connected up. Now I have fixed one like this before and it did come back. Only one. The other one was fine after I did that, so. I think I got everything hooked up. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and power it up and see what happens. Power button. Let's see if we get anything. We might not get anything at all. We might have killed the board. So let's see if we're getting anything. Nope. Okay. Let's try charge. Okay, and we still get the blue screen. So the only thing that I'm going to do here now is I'm going to disconnect everything again. Okay. Let's try to replace this I want to say it's like some kind, I think it's a RAM or something. I don't know the name of it. let's try to use one from a known good switch and see what happens. If I still get the same issue, then I know that the issue is still APU or RAM. Okay? Try again, holding it. And let's plug it up to a charger. See if that will kick it on. And we're still the same, so we know that's not the issue. So the APU still needs a little bit more. Like I said, if it needs to be replaced completely, then that's a whole nother issue. I'm not even going to take the APU out this time. I'm just going to leave it in here, and then we'll go from there. So let's put that in there. Okay, so we're just going to do it right inside this housing. We're going to do it right here. We're not taking it out this time. We've gotten lazier. It's hard to do it with the camera right here. Really, really hard. That was a big shift. Really, really big shift. Alright, let's cool it down real quick. Alright, so let's put this back on. And let's try again. Oh, look what happened. Look at the backlight connector. It came completely up. So that has to go back in place. And we're going to use our iron to get that back in place. I mean, we could reflow it back in place or try to reflow it back in place, but it's much more riskier than me just using my iron. So I'm just going to touch these up, and that's it. So you could simply just reflow this area and get this connector back in place. I just don't want to add any more heat to this board. That's what I'm trying to avoid doing. Hasn't really made a connection to the board yet, but regardless, we'll do it like this. Okay, and then this side and the other side also, which is going to be really important to have these actually. That's pretty straight. We'll tighten up the other side and do all the other stuff after we've tested. It's, because it might not be worth doing all this work, because if it doesn't work, then it doesn't make any sense. We'll just replace the board and then go from there. So I don't want to spend a lot of time working on this thing if I can't get the board working. Okay? Alright, and let's go ahead and let's connect this up. And let's see what happens. See if we still get our blue screen. Yep, and we still get our blue screen. So what's probably happening is maybe the RAM from here. That's what would be next, would be the RAM. It's not even getting warm. And you can tell because the fan is not even turning on. But at least we know the LCD still works, so that connector is okay. Okay, alright, so then let's try the RAM. Let's see if we can heat them up a little bit, bump them, see if they are out of place or they needed to be heated up. Let's just find out. I forgot to disconnect that component right there, but we should be good. And this plastic that broke off, it was already broken off. By the charging port, that plastic always seems to you always just have to, I guess, I want to say just, that plastic always breaks. I don't know what it is. Every time I've seen one of these consoles, that's usually broken. So this board might be dead because this APU might be the issue, and we have to replace that completely. and there's nothing that we can do about it. But the one thing we can do about it is replace it. Yep, so if that doesn't solve the issue, then we'll take that board out of that housing and we'll pop it in here, and that should be it. Alright, so let's try again. Still the same. Still the same. Okay? One more time. We're going to do this. And I'm just not going to keep it underneath the microscope, and that way I can see. I can see what I'm doing, and I can flow this thing a little bit better. Wow. And I have tried replacing the game card before and all that stuff. And the only way I've been able to repair these is by giving it a decent reflow. So we're going to try it again. This time I'm not doing it underneath the microscope. Because like I said, I want to make sure that I get I can move this APU all around. So we'll just do this whole section together, and then we might have cooked it right there. There's no bubbling up here, which is good. And you can see it was just flexing still. Okay, so we will test it and see what's going on with it now. We're just going to let it cool down a little bit more before we come in and clean it up a little bit, and we'll see what's going on. Okay. Let's see if this thing is charged a little bit. That way it'll help us cool this board down. So remember, if you decide to take on a repair like this, have another board ready, and that way you don't spend your entire hour or whatever you give to each device. You don't spend that entire time trying to solve this issue. Okay. Like I said, either this thing is working now or it's dead, because I heard cracking. Which usually means that the chip started bubbling. And if it does start bubbling, then done. I heated it up too fast. Okay. And we're still not getting anything. Let's plug up to our charger. Let's see what happens. Charger plugged in. And are we getting anything? No, we're not getting any charge. We're not getting anything from it. Let's make sure that we got. Oh. Let's see. Okay, let's try this charger. This one I know was working before. Like I said, once I heard that crackling and all that other mess, I knew something. I knew something was up. Yep, 0.2, and it's stuck there. It's not getting any higher than 0.2. So it's not even charging now. That's the sign of the APU is dead for sure. Wait. Wait a minute. Okay. Let's try again. We had a ribbon cable that wasn't connected up properly. Nope, still 0.2. Which is a sign of the APU is dead. It's pulling 200 milliamps. Yeah, it's dead. For sure dead now. So it was definitely an APU issue. Like I said, from my experience, that's what causes those. That's a symptom of an APU, and I can show you a couple of them that does the exact same thing. You get no fan spin, you get nothing from them, and you just get a blue screen. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Wasn't able to solve this one. I'll see you guys in the next video.